Hey, Niners fans, let's get into everything you need to know about the latest matchup and the current state of our team, because Sunday's game against the Buccaneers left a lot of us shaking our heads. First off, there's no denying that the absence of Fred Warner had a huge impact on the team. It's not just about one player. It's about what he represents on the field, the energy, the leadership, and the presence that keeps the defense in sync. When Warner went out, you could feel it immediately. The sideline looked deflated, and the chemistry that had been built over years suddenly felt off balance. But here's the kicker. While the defense had some rough moments, they weren't the main reason the game slipped away. That says a lot, because anyone who's watched the 49ers knows just how pivotal Warner is. His ability to read plays, make tackles, and rally the unit is unmatched. Losing him is a huge blow, and yet, the bigger story of the game wasn't about the defense at all. Baker Mayfield had an outstanding performance. He moved the ball efficiently, completed the majority of his passes, and made plays in critical moments. The Buccaneers racked up over 350 yards of total offense and averaged 7.5 yards per play after Warner went down. That's impressive efficiency, and it put the 49ers in situations where even the best defensive schemes can struggle. Mayfield's pocket presence was remarkable. There were multiple moments when he appeared trapped by the pass rush, yet he somehow evaded pressure, broke tackles, and converted crucial first downs. If even one of those plays had ended differently, the momentum could have swung in San Francisco's favor. But instead, those plays turned into touchdowns for the Buccaneers, widening the gap and putting the 49ers in a position where they had to play catch-up. Now, looking deeper into the defensive performance, there were some breakdowns worth noting. Explosive plays were allowed, and tackling was inconsistent at times. Coverage assignments were missed in key moments, leading to touchdowns on plays that should have been contained. On one particular play, Tez Johnson managed to get behind the secondary due to a pre-snap motion that caused a coverage lapse. There was no one near him, and he turned a simple route into a long touchdown reception. Moments like that make you wonder how much different the game could have been with Warner on the field, orchestrating the defense, communicating adjustments, and keeping the secondary aligned. Similarly, Cameron Johnson's touchdown came from another coverage breakdown, highlighting how the loss of a single player can ripple through the defense and create opportunities for the opponent. These mistakes, while significant, still didn't overshadow the primary issue the 49ers faced on Sunday. The real problem was the offensive line. From start to finish, the line struggled to protect the quarterback and open running lanes, and it was glaringly obvious when going up against a talented and aggressive defensive front. The Buccaneers' defensive scheme, particularly the blitzes and interior pressure, exposed the weaknesses that have been present on this line for years. The struggles against top defensive units have been a recurring theme, and Sunday's game was no exception. The inability to consistently protect the quarterback limited offensive options and put immense pressure on the skilled players to create opportunities against stacked boxes and hurried throws. There were missed assignments, poor technique in pass protection, and interior linemen getting overpowered by strong, quick defenders. The offensive line's failure wasn't just about giving up sacks or pressures. It impacted the rhythm of the offense, disrupted timing, and ultimately contributed to turnovers in key moments. Individual performances along the line were uneven. Some players, despite their best efforts, were repeatedly beaten in one-on-one matchups. Injuries, age, and past performance fluctuations all played a role in what became a day of frustration for the offense. Running backs had limited lanes, quarterbacks were under constant duress, and play designs that normally work in rhythm breaks down when the protection is unreliable. This issue has been consistent over multiple seasons, and it is a glaring concern when facing elite defensive coordinators who can exploit weaknesses immediately. The game highlighted just how vulnerable the 49ers can be when the offensive line cannot execute at a high level. The lack of continuity in blocking, failure to handle stunts, and inability to control the line of scrimmage made it almost impossible for the offense to sustain drives effectively. Each play became a test of improvisation rather than execution, and that's a difficult way to win football games at the highest level. Beyond the line, the quarterback situation also came into focus. Trey Lance or Brock Purdy could make plays outside the pocket, using mobility to escape pressure and extend plays, but with the current starter, movement is limited. That meant more time in the pocket, more hits absorbed, and more pressure to make perfect reads under duress. It exposed vulnerabilities not because of lack of talent at quarterback, but because the system demands protection that simply wasn't there. It's a harsh reminder that in football, even elite skill players need a foundation up front to succeed. Jones has shown flashes of brilliance, but against a defensive line that was consistently winning battles, he was forced into situations where even the best decisions couldn't overcome the immediate pressure. When you're dealing with defenders who can dominate one-on-one matchups, the margin for error disappears quickly, and that's exactly what we saw on Sunday. Looking at the running game, the Niners were stifled. Attempts to establish a ground attack were met with strong resistance, tackles for loss, and minimal room to operate. This further amplified the pressure on the passing game because defenses could focus on blitzes and coverage knowing the run threat was neutralized. When the offensive line cannot sustain blocks, running backs are forced to improvise, which often leads to minimal gains or turnovers. The lack of push at the line of scrimmage impacted overall offensive efficiency, limited play-action opportunities, and allowed the Buccaneers to dictate the pace of the game. Every failed attempt reinforced the urgency of finding solutions along the line, because no matter how talented the skill players are, their effectiveness is directly tied to the foundation created by the front five. The situation moving forward is concerning. With injuries to key defensive players and the ongoing issues on the offensive line, the Niners face significant challenges in upcoming games. Adjustments are possible, and there are options on the roster, but replacing the production loss from Warner or fixing a struggling offensive line midseason is a daunting task. The team may look toward trades, developing depth players, or adjusting schemes to compensate. But the fundamental issues exposed on Sunday will require strategic planning and execution at a high level. Any long-term solution has to address both sides of the ball because elite opponents will continue to exploit weaknesses and one-off solutions will not be enough to sustain a winning formula. The offensive line, in particular, has been Achilles' heel for years, and games like Sunday's demonstrate why it has been a recurring problem. Against elite defenses and top pass rushers, vulnerabilities are magnified, and the Niners' inability to consistently protect the quarterback has turned potentially winnable games into difficult contests. There were moments where individual brilliance shone through, but football is ultimately a team sport, and without a cohesive, reliable offensive line, those moments cannot consistently translate into victories. The pressure, both literal and figurative, weighed heavily on the offense, and it will take serious adjustments to regain momentum and confidence moving forward. It's not just about one bad game. It's a reflection of structural weaknesses that have persisted and need addressing. Now, despite all these challenges, there's a silver lining when it comes to potential roster moves. The team may explore options to bring in players who can immediately contribute, particularly at linebacker and on the edge, to shore up the defense in Warner's absence. Names are circulating, and scouts and front office personnel are undoubtedly evaluating talent that could fit the system and provide instant impact. Players with familiarity under a coach like Robert Saleh could adapt quickly and help stabilize key areas. This could be crucial in maintaining competitiveness while injuries heal and developing young players gain experience. The combination of targeted acquisitions and internal development may give the 49ers a pathway to improve both pass rush and coverage responsibilities, ensuring the team remains a contender despite the current setbacks. Looking ahead, the 49ers face a critical stretch in the season where adjustments aren't optional, they're mandatory. With Fred Warner and Nick Bosa sidelined, the defense will have to rely on depth and smart play calling to compensate for the absence of their star players. It's not just about replacing statistics or physical presence. It's about leadership, communication, and the ability to keep the defense organized against high-powered offenses. Backup linebackers and rotational players will be tested like never before, forced to step into complex schemes and execute under pressure. The next few games will reveal whether the team's depth is ready for the spotlight, and whether the coaching staff can adapt quickly enough to keep the unit competitive. These moments often separate good teams from great ones, and the 49ers are being challenged to rise to that level. Meanwhile, the offensive line remains a glaring vulnerability. The inability to consistently protect the quarterback and establish the run game is more than a minor issue. It dictates the flow of every offensive drive. Opponents now know the pressure points, and without adjustments, it's going to be difficult to sustain momentum in any game. Jones' development as a pocket passer is impressive, but it has limits. When faced with a defensive front that overwhelms him in the first 2 seconds of the snap, even elite decision-making can be neutralized. This means the coaching staff must find creative ways to mask weaknesses, whether through quick passes, motion, misdirection, or rolling pockets. Every snap becomes a chess match, and execution will need to be flawless to prevent repeated losses from occurring in similar circumstances. The urgency to stabilize the offensive line cannot be overstated. One positive element in all of this is the potential for personnel moves to shore up both the defense and offensive front. Players who have performed well under Robert Saleh in the past could transition quickly and contribute immediately, adding stability and experience. Bringing in talent with familiarity in the system can mitigate some of the short-term disruptions caused by injuries. The team's front office will have to weigh options carefully, considering not only immediate needs, but long-term development and roster flexibility. The challenge will be balancing short-term fixes with long-term growth, ensuring that any additions or changes strengthen the team without creating new vulnerabilities. Smart decisions here could define the season and determine whether the 49ers remain in playoff contention. At linebacker, the loss of Warner shifts responsibilities to younger players who are suddenly facing a steep learning curve. They must step up not just physically but mentally, recognizing formations, adjusting to motions, and reading plays in real time. It's a lot to ask, but the bright side is that high-pressure experiences accelerate growth. Players who can rise to the occasion may emerge as key contributors in the future, even if the immediate results are mixed. Leadership from veterans and coaching guidance will be crucial in preventing mistakes and maintaining confidence throughout the defense. This is a pivotal opportunity for players on the roster to show they can handle big moments, and for the team to uncover hidden strengths in its lineup. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to 49ers Zone and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the San Francisco 49ers. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. In a stunning turn of events that has sent shockwaves through the NFL world, rumors are swirling that DK Metcalf, the powerhouse wide receiver known for his jaw-dropping speed and physical dominance, has reached a rapid agreement to join the San Francisco 49ers. Sources close to the situation suggest that the deal happened almost overnight, leaving fans and analysts scrambling to piece together what could be one of the most electrifying moves of the offseason. Metcalf, who has spent his entire career with the Seattle Seahawks, has long been a topic of trade speculation, but few could have anticipated such a lightning-fast negotiation. The 49ers, already boasting one of the most dynamic offenses in the league, appear to be doubling down on their championship ambitions. Adding Metcalf to a roster featuring elite talents like Christian McCaffrey and a revitalized quarterback situation could transform San Francisco into an even more formidable force in the NFC. Insiders describe the agreement as swift and decisive, hinting that both parties were eager to finalize terms before the news could leak further. While contract specifics remain under wraps, the sheer speed of the transaction has fueled endless speculation about the motivations behind it. Was it Metcalf's desire for a fresh start in a new system? Or perhaps the 49ers' aggressive pursuit to outpace other NFC contenders? Either way, the league is buzzing. Fans have taken to social media in droves, debating how Metcalf's signature blend of size, speed, and athleticism will mesh with San Francisco's offensive scheme. Analysts are already projecting a seismic shift in the team's passing attack, with Metcalf's ability to stretch defenses vertically giving quarterbacks a potent new weapon. Some question whether the rapid pace of the deal could lead to growing pains, but most agree that the upside is undeniable. If the rumors hold true, the 49ers may have just orchestrated one of the most talked-about acquisitions in recent memory. The NFL offseason, often a slow grind of speculation and minor adjustments, suddenly feels alive with the promise of dramatic showdowns and record-breaking plays. As the story unfolds, one thing is clear. DK Metcalf to the 49ers is more than just a headline. It's a game-changing buzz that has the entire league holding its breath. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the San Francisco 49ers, make sure to subscribe to 49ers Zone and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.